Hi guys, welcome to my channel and my name is Wanjiku. I will be sharing a very personal story. I hope someone learns from it. Imagine what if the person you trusted the most turned out to be the person who destroyed your life? What if the love story you prayed for became your worst nightmare? Welcome to my channel where I share gripping love stories, deception, heartbreak, and survival as a part of my story. So these episodes of stories are meant to entertain you, educate you personally, and remind us that not everything online is what it seems, as told by myself as part of my life story. So grab your tea, get comfortable, and let's dive into today's story. And trust me, you are not ready for this one. Okay, so this is the chai, as we call it tea. The tea is very hot. Sit back, relax, enjoy, learn, laugh, and also grab your book. So hi everyone, my name is Grace Wanjiku, and today I'm going to tell you a story that completely changed my life. For years, I couldn't talk about it without crying. And even now, there are parts of this story that still hurt. I know, but it is what it is. Some people will listen to this and think, how could she be so naive? Others will probably say, I would never fall for something like that. But trust me, that's exactly what I used to think too. I never imagined that one day I would become the warning story. I never imagined that I would leave Kenya, travel thousands of kilometers for love, marry a man I thought was my soulmate, and end up living a nightmare I wouldn't wish for my worst enemy. But before I tell you what happened, let me take you back to where it all began. Wakati hiyo, at that time I was a university student in one of the prestigious universities in Kenya. I will not tell the name of the university though. I was young, very young, full of dreams. As you know, most of the university students have very big dreams, full of hope. And if I'm being honest, I was also very lonely. University wasn't exactly what I thought it would be for me personally. And don't get me wrong, I enjoyed school, but life was very hard. Money was always a problem. Every semester felt like a battle. Every month was calculating expenses. If you can relate, you know, most of the students at the university. Every month I was calculating expenses. So every week I was wondering how I would survive until the next allowance arrived. And I came from a very humble family, by the way. My mom worked incredibly hard to support me, and sometimes I would call home, pretend everything was okay, even when I knew things were difficult, and I didn't want to add more stress to her life. So I learned to struggle quietly, as most of the university students do. So if you've ever been a broke university student, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So those days when you're checking your M-Pesa balance every 10 minutes, hoping money will magically appear. And those days when your friends are ordering food and they are pretending you're pretending you're not hungry because you can't afford it. You see your friends are ordering KFC, bought food and all that. And those days when you tell people you are not coming out because you're tired, but when the real reason is you can't afford it. That was my reality. And looking back, I think that made me vulnerable. Not just financially, but emotionally too. I wanted someone who cared, someone who listened, someone who made me feel special. I didn't know it then, but people like Michael knew exactly how to find people like me. So one evening after classes, I was lying on my hostel bed scrolling through Facebook. There's the normal stuff we do. Nothing unusual, really. Just another boring evening. I was watching videos, the reels, liking posts, and avoiding my assignments like every other student would do. Then I got a notification, a friend request. The name was Michael Okafu. I remember staring at the profile picture. He was handsome, tall, well dressed, the kind of a man who looked like he had his life together. His profile was full of photos, business meetings, hotels, fancy restaurants, pictures with family, pictures with children. Everything looked normal, everything looked perfect. If anything, he looked too perfect, I guess, but I didn't think much of it. After all, people add strangers on Facebook all the time, right? I accepted the request. That one click changed everything, I tell you. A few hours later, he messaged me. The normal Nigerian guy style, hello beautiful, hi princess. I laughed, rolled my eyes, and I almost ignored him completely. You know how social media is. Men message women every day, right? Most of the conversations go nowhere anyway, so I wasn't interested. But Michael was different. He was pushy. He wasn't rude. He didn't immediately start asking for photos like other men do. He didn't make inappropriate comments. Instead, he simply said hello and introduced himself. So somehow that made me curious. The conversation started slowly, very slowly, and at first we only exchanged a few messages a day. Then a few messages became hours of conversation online. Then hours became daily phone calls. Soon, talking to Michael became part of my routine. He would text me in the morning, good morning, before I woke up, good morning, princess. He would ask how my classes were going during the day. He remembered every detail, tiny details of my day and routine. So things I mentioned once and forgot about. Meanwhile, he remembered everything. My favorite color, my favorite food, my dreams, fears, even my childhood stories, everything. Imagine that. So to me, it felt very sweet and romantic. Now, I realized it was something else. He was studying me, learning me, understanding exactly what kind of a person I was, exactly what I wanted, exactly what I needed to hear. And then, one day, now, something happened that completely changed how I saw him. You know what? I was behind on my university fee. As you know, most students have arrears. Do you remember sitting on my bed crying? I felt helpless. I didn't know where the money would come from since my mom was a single mom who was also struggling, but I managed to go to the university anyway. So that evening, Michael called. The moment he heard my voice, he knew something was wrong with someone who is studying you, or at least that's what I thought. So he kept asking questions until I finally told him everything. I told him about the fees, the stress I was going through, my fears, the embarrassment, and the funniest thing, he listened quietly. Then he said something I'll never forget. Grace, don't worry, I'll help you. I laughed about it. I thought he was joking. After all, we had never met before. It's only been an online conversation. So why would a stranger help me? I thought, questioned myself. Then next morning I woke up and checked my phone. I nearly dropped it. Money, guys. Pesa, a lot of it. Sent by Michael. Enough to clear my fee, enough to solve my problem. I was really shocked. Nikashanga, and I called him immediately and I was like, I asked him why you would do something like that. Alisema too, he simply said, because I care about you. So that moment, the walls came down. my walls came down, guys. My walls came down completely. I trusted him, and that was exactly what he wanted. So what I didn't know was that while I was falling in love with the man I thought was Michael was, there was another side of him I had never seen or heard, a side that would eventually destroy everything. So, and the first clue appeared only a few weeks later. A clue I also completely ignored. A clue that should have made me run, Murife run. Instead, I fell even deeper in love. And that's exactly where my nightmare began. So, in episode 2, I'll tell you about the first red flag I ignored. The expensive gifts Michael started sending, and how he convinced me to meet him in person. So stick around, hit the subscribe button, click the bell so that you'll be notified when I post my next episode, and like and share so that all our other sisters can learn from my story, because I am sharing it so that you can learn never to